Just start with a little prayer and invocation. So I invite you to just come sitting up for a moment or wherever you are. Lower your eyes, turn your awareness within. We invite you to take a nice deep breath with us, arriving fully into this moment, into this gathering, into this sacred circle across time and space. Together we honor the ancient lands of Kemet, the wisdom keepers, the temple paths, and the eternal current of remembrance that continues to call seekers home. May this gathering be guided by clarity, by wisdom, integrity, and grace. May the temples of Egypt open not only as monuments of the past, but as living mirrors for the awakening of the soul. May we call upon the blessings of Aset, Isis, the wisdom of Tahuti, Thoth, the protection of Sekhmet, the steady heart of Ma'at, and the radiant light of Ra to illuminate the space. May each person here receive exactly what they need from this conversation. And if this pilgrimage is truly aligned for them, may the path open with ease, synchronicity, and deep inner knowing. So it is, blessings be, Hotep.
Yep.
Let us begin. All right. So welcome everyone. Let me move this way. Welcome. I know people on the call know us, but some people might be tuning in after. I'm Heather.
I'm Donny.
And it's our great pleasure to welcome you to this info call to our Egypt pilgrimage. And you might ask, why do we lead gatherings to Egypt? And what does it mean for us to walk this path together? Well, I am started when I was a child. I've been on a spiritual path for a long time, for over 40 years. I would say about 45 years. Started when I was a teenager, and I was kind of cycling through depression, and I found yoga and wellness and healing work. And my aunt was an astrologer, would be sharing with me every year my astrology, and said that kind of I was on a mission here, and that the world was changing, and I was going to be part of the change. I'm part of the ones who guiding it. So I have a degree in business, and I used to work in international sports, like for the Toronto Raptors and with the NBA and all these international federations. And one thing led to another. I ended up becoming an actress, kind of fell into it, or it kind of picked me. And my acting, I'm from Toronto originally, but my acting took me to Los Angeles, where I spent 7 years acting. I've done like 50 national commercials. I've done all these small parts on big shows and movies. But acting was never really my calling. But I heard Spirit tell me, this is the early 2000s, that healing in the performing arts, Heather, healing in the performing arts. And so I had some wonderful mentors who introduced me to sound healing, the shamanic form of sound healing, way back around the year 2000. And I ended up in Mount Shasta with this crazy storm, and these light beings appeared to me, and they were talking about the divine feminine, and one thing's led to another. Donny and I left LA, moved to Harbin Hot Springs, this amazing conscious community in Northern California, and that's where I ended up meeting Donny, and we started collaborating. And when I was in Los Angeles, I had become on my spiritual path. I was studying the work of the Essenes, so I became an ordained Essene minister. I went through this whole 5-year training with practitioner work in seminary school, and I do a lot of other healing work like hypnotherapy and reflexology and the sound healing. And so that's kind of informed my work now. And then when I moved to Northern California, I got connected with the Temple of Isis, and they literally contacted me in 2010, where they said, we recognize you as being a priestess of the Temple of Isis, a priestess of Isis, and we have a very special convocation coming up on 10-10-10, October 10th, 2010, and would I come and dance for the convocation, and they wanted to honor me with a ordination into the temple. So the work of the Essenes and the work of Isis and the ancient Egyptians became my path. And of course, the Essenes they spent a lot of time in Egypt. Mary Magdalene, Jesus, they were mystics, prophets, poets, healers, sound healers. They worked with plant medicine, and they went through the initiations in the temples of Egypt. So this all came, and then the magic and the healing work of Isis has all come together to inform and inspire the work that I do now, and that Donny and I have collaborated on. Do you want to share your path a little, Donny?
I'm a musician, and I also got ordained under the Temple of Isis. I have through Hathor, which is one of the temples in Egypt. Hathor is the goddess of music and motherhood, and nobody better to really be part of my inspiration in life as a sound healer and a representative of the divine healing arts of what sound healing can do. We both are sound healers. We're both hypnotherapists, and we have a love for Egypt because of the deep inspiration, the deep education, and the deep awakening that happens. We've been there half a dozen times, and we continuously want to keep coming back. We've contemplated, buying a boat on the Nile, just because it's such a rich tapestry of information, inspiration, and most importantly, an awakening in our soul. I mean, I think a lot of us have reincarnated. I believe in reincarnation, so you don't have to, but I think a lot of us have reincarnated through Egypt at one time or another. Cairo itself was one of the big hubs of activity for thousands of years. Alexandria has been there for over a couple thousand years. And it's a great place to be inspired, to really get a life-changing aha moment from. And I continuously have got that every time I go. So I'm really excited about going back. It's taken me on quite a journey. There's an inspiration that happens that's very, very powerful.
Yeah, and I'll just share one little thing is that people often ask, how did you get to the name of the Black Swan Temple? Well, when I was ordained as an Essene minister back in 2004, two of my girlfriends gave me Black Swan statues. One gave me a Black Swan planter, the other gave me a Black Swan statue. And then fast forward to, Egypt and Isis and the winged goddesses, and Isis is also associated with black birds. So it all just kind of flowed together. All the signs were there, and following the path. And I love the symbolism of the black swan too. So we say that our journeys are not your typical Egypt tour.
Tours, yeah.
It's not a normal tour. It's more of a spiritual pilgrimage and initiation. In each of the temples, we we do ceremony and ritual, and we help to um, guide you through the process by doing um, a whole pre-pilgrimage course. Nothing complicated. It's just some embodiment practices, some breath work, some sound healing, and we also give you, we've done master classes before, so we have this whole package that we give you, our master classes, and also included in our pilgrimage, which we haven't even shared about yet, is we've got a few gifts. We've got our temple oils, we give you a set, we give you some blue lotus tincture from our garden that we grow here at Blue Lotus. So why, why Egypt calls? Often people have like a sense of remembrance,
An initiation or awakening of sacred timing. I mean, I think a lot of us have, obviously Egypt is on many people's bucket list, and there's plenty of things there to, be inspired by. But when we go, we really try to make it more of an initiation, in the sense that there's a really deep connection to the depth of the Egyptian pantheon that we can really gain wisdom and something from that's beyond just being a tourist.
Yeah, each of the temples really has an empowerment to offer, a lesson, wisdom, magic. So
Absolutely.
we really take the time to explain that, to create space where we can do private meditations or activations in each of the temples. And this is Hathor Temple in Dendera, as you can see that I'm currently in here. All right, so this next pilgrimage is super special. We usually go in the fall, but we were really called to go in the spring next year. So I was like, okay, we'll go in the spring. And once I booked it and started looking at the dates, I knew we wanted to start at the spring equinox between the Paws of the Sphinx, because that is so special. Okay, so the Sphinx was created to face the east at the time of Leo. And the spring equinox marks the solar new year. So being there as the sun is rising at the solar new year is a really powerful initiation and very special. A lot of people don't even kind of put these things together, but this is where we start. We set our intentions. We circumnavigate the whole Sphinx, which is really big. So it means we walk around it and we offer prayers in the sacred directions. And then everyone has time to just be on the land of the Sphinx. So this is something we literally are renting out this time here just for our group. So it's just our group at this beautiful sacred time. This is the way we begin our pilgrimage.
The Sphinx is actually much older than what the Egyptians give it credit to. There's all kinds of water erosion on the Sphinx's walls around it. And of course, it hasn't really rained in Egypt that much for the last 10,000 years at least. And it's considered that Thoth himself was part of the creation and manifestation of the Great Pyramids, as well as the Sphinx.
Yeah, so Thoth was a priest king from Atlantis, and the Atlantis fell at the time of the Great Floods 10,500 years ago, and so they say Thoth went to and brought the amazing technology and science from Atlantis to Egypt, and it started this whole it started Egypt, all these sacred lands. So the Great Pyramids and the Sphinx, which has water markings from that 10,500 years ago. They said it That's when the Sphinx was built, was 10,500. So the next day is the full moon in Libra. And so we take you in the evening, probably usually around 9 p.m. after everything is closed. We have a 2-hour private session in the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid. And we offer a beautiful sound healing session. So the
Chakra.
yes, chakra activation. The pyramid is powerful at aligning and activating our energy fields and our intentions. So it's like amazing. And they say that this is actually where the ancients practiced the practice of resurrection through sacred sound, using their voices. So we will take you through a kinetic sound healing activation for the chakras and blessings for each person that is there.
Very powerful initiation.
Yeah.
I mean, they say that Jesus himself was initiated in the Great Pyramids. And of course, he lived in Cairo when he was just a little kid.
Yes, and of course, we're going to take you to the church, the crypt, where Jesus was as an infant. And then we have the Luxor West Bank, the resurrection mysteries on Easter Sunday. So first we go to the Valley of the Kings, and if you know anything about Valley of the Kings, they were all about resurrection. They have these amazing tombs, and they brought with them, so many precious items.
For their afterlife.
For their afterlife. They really believed in the afterlife, that life continues. So this is another way of looking at the resurrection mysteries. And then we take you into this temple, the small shrine of Ma'at. And in the ancient Egyptian story, this is like so important. So it's like after, you've lived your life, comes the final judgment here, the weighing of the heart. And here you say, see, is your heart as light as a feather? And if your heart is as light as feather, has been pure, have been kind, then you go to the Hall of Reeds, the afterlife. And if not, I guess you might need to come back. And here's Ma'at, and then we have Tahuti. Thoth, who's the scribe. He's making notes, what's happened. And these are the assessors, the 42 assessors. You might have heard of the 42 laws of Ma'at, or the 42 ideals of Ma'at. And these are the 42, each one of these 42 assessors represents another teaching about
how to live life and how to express yourself in a divine way.
Yeah. So it's super exciting to experience, and not many people know about this shrine. We've been going since 2017, and I was asking, and then finally popped up. I was like, yes, that's it. Of course, we must go here. So it's usually very few people here, and we offer a little ceremony, a little reading of the 42 laws of Ma'at, right in this amazing shrine. And look at how well preserved it is. Not everything in Egypt is this well preserved, but it's extraordinary.
I would say, Egypt can tend to be very crowded. We try our very, very best to go to some of the temples on off hours or off times, so it's not crowded. So we really have our own privacy, so we're not inundated with tourists around us. We aren't always able to accomplish that, but we really make a sincere effort.
Yeah, and we do have private entries in the King's Chamber, between the Paws of the Sphinx. And this time we're going to have a whole private 2 hours at the Temple of Isis in Philae. So that's pretty exciting too, because Isis is the Divine Mother. Her principle is of divine love. and we fly the whole group after we've done the Paws of the Sphinx, we've done inside the Great Pyramid, we've gone to the Coptic Church to see the
Cairo.
crypt, we've gone to also the museum, the Great Museum, which is
brand new.
now brand new and open. And then we fly everyone down to a Swan, and we stay at another beautiful hotel right on the Nile for 3 days before we get onto our boat. And part of that we will go to the to Philae. We'll have a private entry, and so and then this is our boat, the Swan, and this amazing boat, which we are so honored, is named after our temple. Our guide, our guide Mohammed Anwar, he's a PhD scholar. We've been working with him ever since 2017. He's like our brother. And he had a dream and to create this beautiful, it's called a dahabaya. It sleeps about 24 people. This is the longest and widest
the largest one on the Nile.
On the Nile. And he says that Donny really encouraged him to create this, and he loves our work and us so much that he named it after the Swan, the Swan. And they're going to build another one, and it's going to be the Black Swan. So there's going to be a fleet of Swan boats. So this is super comfortable. It has a hot tub. It has, multiple decks. These are all the cabins here, which are all air conditioned. There's like an indoor lounge up here, which is
air conditioned. Also
air conditioned, and we eat there, and we also sometimes teach classes there. It just depends on the weather, or we can be on this deck or this upper deck. So it's a very beautiful boat, a very exciting time. So what makes us different? There's a lot of people out there doing pilgrimages, and some of them are huge. Some of them are like
50, 100 people.
50, 100 people. Seriously. And we've come across those groups many times, and I was like,
all the time.
all the time we come across those groups, and I just don't really understand. I mean, it's hurting a big group of people, so they got to go here and they got to go there, but you can't get 100 people in the king's chamber. So sometimes it just, have people kind of walk in and walk out. There's no time to sit down and do a real process with people. That's more like a tour than what we call a sacred pilgrimage. So we get sacred access to a lot of the chambers where we are there by ourselves. Muhammad he's our champion. He feels like our work is very important. So he makes sure, he's been doing this for, 20 years. So he makes sure that we get the time and space inside the temples just for our group as much as possible. And Muhammad is a beautiful guy. He's I think he's maybe around 44 now. He's a father of 4 boys, and then he adopted 2 twin girls during COVID after their parents passed. And he's a hard worker and very sweet and charismatic, and takes great care of us and the crew and everyone.
He's been a great guide for us.
Yeah.
That's why we keep coming back, because he's really brings the whole tour to another level from his care and consideration.
Yeah. So this is a guided experience. We're not just trying to, run you here and run you there. We've really slowed down the pilgrimage. Most people do, and I've seen people do this pilgrimage in 7 days, in 10 days. We're like, we need to slow down. We want to do this in 15 days. Just this main part of the pilgrimage.
Yeah, the point is to not need a vacation after your vacation, so you're so run down and worn out by just constantly going. Our first time we went there, everything was just go, 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 and we've learned from our own experience that we've slowed it down and then slowed it down again to really have time to acclimate, to have time to really integrate, to have time to really observe and experience things without constantly being distracted by a very tight schedule. You're just going, 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 going. That's why we love the boat so much, because things slow down on the boat. The Egyptians utilized the Nile, extensively for so many things. And the Nile, we spend 8 days on the boat now.
Yeah, 8 days on
And
the boat.
it's really truly magic. We're living the life of the Egyptians at that moment, going from temple to temple. It's exquisite. It's my favorite part of the trip.
And there on the boat, we get to do, slow down and have classes. We
Yoga,
do gentle yoga and sound healing, and we can do our master classes, do presentations. So, it's really worthwhile slowing it down. And everyone's always so appreciative that they're not just run ragged on the journey. All right. Where are we here? So, here we are. This pilgrimage, is March 19th to April 2nd, 2027. I will say, we come from Hawaii, so we arrive a few days early because it is a 12-hour time difference.
It's completely the exact opposite side of the world.
Yeah, we've done it before where we arrive like on the day or the day before, but
our first trip.
But it is worthwhile thinking about, maybe arriving a day or two early. We have this optional Siwa Oasis extension, which is 5 days, and Siwa is where Cleopatra created
her own spa retreats.
Yeah. It's believed that there's like a cave with the oracle. They have this amazing salt water. You might have seen them. It's like the saltwater pools. And so you can just go and lay down in the salt water and float. So it's amazing. So we said our group size is intimate. It'll be under 18 people total. Our deposit is $2,500 is the deposit. Then we have 4, you can either pay one lump sum or you can do a payment plan, which we have. So there's equal installments due in like July, September, November, and January. So it depends on if you want the double occupancy or single occupancy. We've had our founding members rate, which it closes on Sunday, May 31st. And so our founding members rate is $8,888 for double occupancy. If you're single occupancy, it's $11,111. And both those go up $1,000 starting on June 1st. So
June 1st is coming up.
That's on Monday, honey. Yeah. All right. So what's it include? The luxury 5-star accommodations. It's the 15-day pilgrimage. 8 days is full board on the Nile. So if we're not on the boat, then it includes breakfast and lunch. So breakfast is always a beautiful, huge buffet from these amazing hotels. Lunch, we go to local, it depends on where we are, we go to local restaurants. And yeah, they can accommodate, but when we're on the boat, we do breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the boat. It includes 2 domestic flights within Egypt. So we fly you from Cairo to Swan, then we sail down the Nile to Luxor, and then we fly from Luxor back to Cairo. Private airport VIP handling.
What that means is that when you arrive, one of the guides will meet you there. He'll run you through customs, run you through all the all the details there, make sure you got your luggage, and then drive you to the hotel.
Yeah. Includes all ground transportation, sacred site entrance fees, private temple access, Egyptologists of Muhammad, of course, ceremony, rituals, sound healing, temple teachings, the pre-pilgrimage training and preparation portal, and the post-pilgrimage integration call. And yeah, breakfast and lunch daily, as I said. And so,
All right, so here are the rates. Double occupancy is $9,888. Private room is $12,111. And bring a friend or make a referral, and we offer you $250 off of your package, whichever it is.
and we've had some wonderful, wonderful reflections and reviews. Um, Helen came and she said it was beyond her imagination. Everything was remarkable, moment after moment. Going to the Sphinx in the dark for sunrise was just so magical. She loved all the time we spent on the water. It was so wonderful, and the people who came were kindred spirits. And Maureen and Scott said this was a wonderful experience. Besides all the experiences an Egypt trip can offer, we had multiple private entrances to the temples and the Great Pyramid, along with meditations in sacred places that only this spiritual couple could offer. And then
Okay.
we have Slavko, who actually has come with us
Twice.
twice. He came with us twice because he's from Croatia, so it's not too far for him. But he said, I'm very happy, the happiest I've been in my life after this.
I mean, I asked him a personal question. I said, how come you're coming a second time? We've already been there with this. He says, my life has changed so much from the first trip that whatever happened, I want to make sure I get more of that. And I was like, wow, okay, well then come on back. He's really a powerful soul and doing great work in his own life. And this trip, both trips were actually life changing for him. So he felt very inspired to do it again.
Yeah. And so there we go. We say Egypt does not call everyone, but when it does, it changes you. Definitely changes you. There's so much empowerment, magic to be had. We have people who come to see us in Maui who are like, we're going to come to do one of our mini retreats before we go to Egypt, and then we're going to come back right after you come back so we can feel the transmission, we can get the vibe, the energy, because we do receive our own upgrades, our own empowerments, and it's a beautiful and powerful way to keep learning and growing.
Keep growing, yeah.
So with that, I'm going to stop this, and I would love to see if anyone has any questions, thoughts about anything. And now we'll open the chat too.
Wonderful presentation.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Candy from
Memories of my other trip.
yes, world traveler. Okay, anyone else?
Questions?
So what happens is if you are interested, we're going to send you a link to the replay and also to back to the pilgrimage page. And if you haven't, and if you have already filled out your application and are still feeling it, we'd love to just hop on a little personal Zoom call with you to see if you have any other questions, directly just to say hello, because we want everyone to feel welcome and seen and heard. We want to understand what your needs are and to make sure that everything is going to go
No,
smooth.
March.
I mean,
26th.
and to make sure that we're really getting the right people on the trip, because it's really
April
important
12th.
to each of the group.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah. Danette, you're unmuted. Do you want to share anything?
I have a quick question. So the flights to get there round trip, like for us, it's like a 36-hour flight. Am I seeing that correct?
It depends. You know, Egypt Air now has a direct flight
From LA.
from LA to Cairo. The brand new. Okay.
Oh,
So, and that's going to be a 15-hour flight. And then you just fly to LA. So that's a 5-hour flight. So it's cut the time way.
nice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because that's what I was like when we were looking at the flights. I'm like, this is like forever to get
yeah,
there.
yeah. I mean, we've done.
It's halfway around the world. It's true.
Yeah.
It's a
So
lot.
Yeah,
Danette lives on Maui with us here. So, you know, we've done from here to LA to
Paris,
Dubai or Paris or Qatar, and then to Cairo.
which adds in there 5 or 6 hours at least.
Yeah, which is much longer because that's a 15-hour flight just to get into Dubai or to Qatar. And then we've also done through Toronto, you know, which was easier because Toronto, Cairo, there's a direct flight. And then we've also done through New York at JFK. JFK to Cairo.
Cairo, that was a great flight. I mean, Egypt Air really fed us so well.
Yeah.
The food was amazing, which is unusual for an airplane.
Yeah.
so you just hopefully have some good recommendations on flights.
Well, the LA is what we're going to be doing.
We hope
Okay.
we have to look at the price of it, but
Okay.
we would love to do that because it does just save some time and energy.
Right.
Obviously. Yeah.
Any questions from anybody else? Or are you? I guess that's feeling complete. Okay.
Okay. All right, guys.
Tara, Ina, Cher, Jane,
I think they're
all good.
good.
Well, we really, really appreciate you guys checking in with us. We are, as always, excited about this trip and hope that you'll be as excited. And hopefully we'll see you soon.
All right.
Blessings, everybody.